Okay, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. Things are about to get really bad. If you want to survive this, I need you to pay attention to every word I'm about to tell you. Long time ago, there was this god called Knull. He was here before anything else. He ruled over the endless nothing that was pre-creation, the abyss. He's the one who created the symbiotes. He's their god, or he was, I guess. See, Knull waged war across the cosmos, killing everything living and bright. Everything that threatened his infinite black kingdom. The symbiotes rose up against him, and now he's caged inside what we used to think was the planet of the symbiotes. Turns out it's not a planet at all, just billions of his own creations forming a cage around him, holding him down. He's there right now, sleeping, imprisoned in the void. For now.
Brock explains to Dylan that every time a symbiote bonds with a host, it leaves a tiny piece of itself embedded in the host's DNA. And this is how the symbiotes communicate information about their hosts to the hive. Brock calls this little piece of symbiote that's wrapped up in his DNA the Codex. Brock tells Dylan that he and Venom aren't bonded anymore, and that Venom has a long history of hosts, all of whom will similarly carry a Codex. Brock believes that if someone can hunt down and collect all of the codices, then they'll be able to reconnect to the hive and set Knull free from his eternal slumber. Brock also tells Dylan that Cletus Cassidy and the Carnage symbiote have been resurrected by a cult that worships Knull. They must assume that Carnage will hunt them down along with any other hosts with codices in their DNA. Eddie desperately wants to tell Dylan the truth about being his son, but he believes it will only put Dylan in more danger if he knows. Eddie notices that they are being followed, and so he grabs Dylan and makes a run for it down into the subway station. As Eddie and Dylan wait for the next train, a sinister figure appears from behind a newspaper and pushes them off of the platform and onto the tracks. Just as the approaching subway train is about to tear the two of them to pieces, Venom appears and protects them by derailing the train. It's been months since Eddie has bonded with his symbiote counterpart. He thought they were done.
You're back?
I never left, Eddie. Been watching over you.
I can hear you again. How is that?
Bonded with dark magic. We are better now. Can feel you resisting us, Eddie. Not bonding fully.
I'm sorry. I can't do this again. I'm not strong enough.
Sorry too, Eddie, but we must be together now. He is coming.
The police show up and demand that Eddie come into custody. Venom tries to urge Eddie to flee the situation due to an impending danger, but Eddie ignores him. Eddie pleads with the police to take Dylan somewhere safe, but before any further negotiating can happen, Carnage bursts into the subway. Venom leaps into action.
Need to be careful, Eddie. Never faced anything like him. His symbiote. I sense it. He's wearing the dragon we fought with Rex, the one that almost killed us. Eddie, he's wearing the Grendel. I don't think we can win this. Your orbital socket is broken, Eddie. Your brain is hemorrhaging. Can fix you, but we need to run away from this.
Carnage questions Eddie about Dylan. He wants to know who this mystery boy is. Left without any options for escape, Eddie rips out some of the electrical cabling from the track and electrocutes Carnage, knowing that electricity is the symbiote's only weakness. Dylan jumps down onto the tracks and Venom helps carry Eddie's unconscious body out of the subway. Venom tells Dylan that he's put Eddie into a coma while he repairs his injuries. They arrive at Peter Parker's house. Venom has come to seek the help of an old acquaintance. As soon as Eddie's all healed up, he and Dylan sit with Spider-Man at a cafe to discuss the situation. Eddie tells Spider-Man about Knull and Carnage, and Spider-Man freaks out. Eddie becomes frustrated with Spider-Man and attempts to leave, but Venom insists that they can't do this without Spider-Man. Eddie sends Dylan to go and sit by the counter so that he can speak freely with Spider-Man. Spider-Man wants to know who Dylan is and why Eddie is with him. Eddie reluctantly tells Spider-Man that Dylan is his son, and that Dylan thinks Eddie is his older brother. Spider-Man says that Eddie needs to tell Dylan the truth. On the news, Eddie sees a report of a mass grave being uncovered. Eddie notices that several of the bodies that have been found in the grave belong to previous symbiote hosts. Eddie knows that this is a message from Carnage. Both Spider-Man and Eddie have worn the symbiote suit, so Carnage will be after them both. They can't afford to let Carnage collect all the codices and wake up Knull. Eddie guides Dylan and Spider-Man to the safe house, where the Maker is keeping a close eye on Rex Strickland. The Maker has been working on a device capable of extracting codices from their hosts without killing them in the process. Spider-Man hasn't met this version of Reed Richards yet, but agrees that if he is a version of the Reed he knows, then they are in capable hands. Peter Parker's godson is there too. He's the child of Norman Osborn, and so he also has the Carnage Codex intertwined into his DNA. Norman was one of the first people to infect himself with the Carnage symbiote. Peter isn't happy with the Maker testing his machine out on his godson until he knows it's safe. That means that they need another test subject with a codex. Peter and Eddie decide that they'll have to go to the Ravencroft Institute for the Criminally Insane and break Norman Osborn out so they can test the machine on him. They need to get to Norman before Carnage does. One of the security guards, who is a good friend of Spider-Man's, takes them to where Norman is being held. Eddie suggests that they sedate Norman before releasing him to be safe, but as soon as they get to Norman's cell, something takes over the security guard's mind. The guard shoots at the cell's locking mechanism, which sets off the prison's alarm system. The high-pitched ringing causes Venom to freak out. Norman breaks out of his cell and begins infecting the other inmates with his symbiote. A horde of symbiotes comes charging towards Venom and Spider-Man. They have no choice but to stay and fight. They cannot leave without Norman. If Carnage gets hold of Norman's codex before they do, he'll only get stronger. Spider-Man and Venom take on the horde. They are seriously outnumbered. Things only get worse when Norman arrives wearing his symbiote and grabs hold of Spider-Man.
Hello again, little bug. We have missed you.
Norman throws Spider-Man through a door before trying to slice him open with a piece of glass. Venom comes to Spider-Man's aid and tries to hold back the horde of symbiotes behind the door, while Spider-Man gets Norman out of the prison. Before Spider-Man can escape with Norman, something powerful breaks through the door, sending Venom flying through the air. Carnage emerges from the prison and takes Norman's body.
At last, the little Carnage Prince. Oh, how I've wanted to meet you.
Don't kill him, please.
Bwahaha, kill him. Pay attention, little bug. I'm not here to kill.
Dear God, no.
I'm here to make friends.
Part 2. The City of Carnage. Spider-Man has run out of web fluid, so Venom forms a pair of bat-like wings and flies them out of the prison. Norman Osborn asks Carnage why they do not chase their targets.
Why are we not following them?
We are. There is nowhere they can go.
What happened to running someone down, screaming and laughing and slitting their throat?
The young wolf runs and he kills one. The old wolf walks and he kills them all. There are more spiders where they came from, Osborn. You just have to disturb the right web.
Peter and Eddie decide that they cannot face Carnage and his horde head-on. Their new plan must be to track down all the remaining individuals who have codices in their DNA and use the Maker's machine to extract them and destroy them before Carnage can get his claws on them. Spider-Man will approach any heroes who've had a run-in with the symbiotes, while Venom tracks down all the criminals. The Maker calls Eddie and tells him that he hacked into the FBI's database to gather more information on the corpses that were found in the mass grave. The Maker tells Eddie that Anne's body was not found in the grave. The Maker believes that Anne passed the codex on to Dylan when he was born, and so when she died, the codex was no longer attached to her DNA. This is why Carnage did not dig up her body to add to his morbid collection of corpses. Eddie knows that this puts Dylan at extreme risk. Carnage's horde is growing by the minute, and he has built a massive lair called the Spire, deep beneath the city streets. Norman reminds Carnage that once he's done collecting all the codices, the two of them will have to fight, as he still has a codex inside of him.
The carnage has already begun. My tendrils are already burrowing into the veins of this city. Endless claws enclosed around the brittle spines of 100 pathetic heroes, waiting in breathless agony for me to just pull. 1,000 teeth slowly breaking the skin of this hellhole planet, begging me to give one final squeeze and drown the streets in red.
We see Scorpion and Miles Morales fighting off the horde. Scorpion breaks free and tries to make a run for it without helping Miles, but Venom arrives on the scene and hurls Scorpion back into the action. He needs them both alive as carriers of codices. Norman captures Scorpion and impales him. Miles comes to Scorpion's rescue, striking the symbiote with a powerful blow to the head. Venom helps Scorpion to his feet, but now Miles has been overrun by the Horde, and Norman has come back for revenge. Norman's symbiote consumes the struggling Miles Morales, who calls out for Eddie to help him, but it's too late. Part 3. Kicking the Spider's Nest. Carnage has turned Miles into another minion of his Horde, and now Eddie must face him.
I lost the kid. Carnage turned him, took him, dragged him drowning into the black and red. The Carnage hordes grow stronger by the day. He's collected dozens of codices so far, ripped pieces of the symbiote from the living and the dead, and we're losing. I'm losing everything, and I don't know how to win. But if we're going to lose, they're damn sure gonna know they've been in a fight.
Venom urges Eddie to kill the symbiote-infected Miles while he has the chance, but Eddie can't bring himself to do it. Eddie tries to reason with Norman and tells him about how they are trying to save his son. Norman is startled by the news of his son and freezes for a second. Venom acts independently and uses the opportunity to stab Norman in the heart. Venom then grabs Scorpion and flees the scene. Venom arrives back at the safe house to find Spider-Man waiting with Wolverine, Captain America, and the Thing. These are all heroes who have previously worn the symbiote and have codices in their DNA. Bruce Banner is there too, but he's just there for scientific support. He's never had the pleasure of wearing Venom's skin. Hours later, Captain America is the first one to undergo the Maker's Codex extracting machine. Spider-Man comes up to Eddie, who is watching over the Captain.
You nervous?
About what?
Don't do that. You know what I mean. We're going to have to face him. This new, dark Carnage. Either way, even if it works, even if we win the race, we're going to have to fight him.
We'll be okay.
You gonna tell Dylan before we do? Before we go to war?
Tell him what?
That you're his father.
A sinister grin spreads across Eddie's face. Only it's not Eddie. It's Carnage in disguise. The real Eddie comes bursting into the room.
Peter, get the hell away from him.
Carnage takes on the monstrous form of the Grendel. Spider-Man tells Eddie to take Dylan and run, but Venom is sick and tired of all the running. It's time to stand and fight. Venom leaves Eddie's body.
I told you, Eddie, if you aren't strong enough to end this, I will find someone who is.
Venom attaches himself to Bruce Banner, and Banner transforms into a symbiote version of the Hulk. Part 4.
We are Venom.
Carnage and Hulk clash in an intense battle. Carnage seems to be enjoying the conflict, and teases the symbiote Hulk to continue. Meanwhile, Spider-Man takes Eddie to a storeroom where there is some anti-symbiote tech used for fighting the symbiotes. Captain America's shield is being kept there too. Eddie tells Spider-Man to get the boys to safety while he returns to the safe house to help Captain America and the other heroes who are still in the Maker's pods. Eddie puts on a robotic arm and takes up the Captain's shield and returns to face the Horde. The infected Miles Morales is waiting for him. Carnage and Hulk are still going at it. Carnage is tired of taunting the Hulk and digs his symbiotic probes into Hulk's brain so that he can start messing with his thoughts. Eddie uses his robotic arm and Captain America's shield to stop Miles from getting to him. Eddie realizes that the arm he is wearing can deliver a high-voltage electric shock, and so he presses his fist up against the shield and shocks the symbiote free from Miles's body. His plan worked. Miles realizes the danger of letting Carnage take the Venom symbiote from Hulk. He believes that Carnage will be truly unstoppable if he gets his hands on the Hulk's codex. Eddie and Miles rush to Hulk's aid, but as they arrive on the scene, they watch as Hulk loses consciousness and turns back into Banner. Seconds later, Carnage rips the Venom skin from Banner's body and consumes the codex.
I've tried like hell to make myself believe the inevitable wouldn't arrive, that somehow, some way we could find a way to beat Carnage. But seeing this, for the first time I find myself without hope. Carnage is going to win. God is coming, and there's not a damn thing I can do to stop it.
Just as the situation appears to be doomed, with Carnage stronger than ever and thirsty for blood, Captain America, Wolverine, and the Thing show up, and they're ready to put up a fight.
But then again, I keep forgetting I'm not alone in this.
Miles tells Eddie that while he was under Carnage's spell, he learned something about the Maker's extraction machine. The Maker has been lying the whole time. His machine is capable of extracting the codices, but instead of destroying them, it's been collecting them. No wonder Carnage's horde has been so interested in trying to dismantle the machine, even after the heroes broke free from their pods. Eddie knows what has to be done. Using the robotic arm, he charges through the horde. Miles keeps the horde at bay while Eddie breaks open the machine and bonds with all the codices stored inside the machine.
They fall into me, black rain burrowing and growing, the codices writhing and connecting with my own, the voices of their former hosts screaming into my mind. Captain America's voice barking orders and war strategies, Wolverine's rage igniting my blood into ancient fire, the Thing's ungodly strength turning my muscle to stone. They all melt together inside of me, many voices becoming one. The power, not like anything I have ever felt before, something new, something better. We are the fury of this red-drenched city, clothed in the armor of an avenging legion. This ends with us, all of us, because we're stronger when we are together, and together we are Venom.
Part 5. F the world. Carnage continues to taunt Venom about Knull's awakening as they exchange blows.
Shut up and die!
Since I absorbed the codices, I can sense the hive. Never felt anything like it. I can hear them all. I can hear them screaming.
The Captain, Wolverine, and the Thing are being overwhelmed by the horde. Captain America calls out to them to keep fighting. They just need to buy more time. Spider-Man is also doing his best to hold off Norman Osborn's symbiote and keep the boys safe.
You know what happens next, don't you? I kill you, and I have everything I need to wake Knull and grind this world into a fine red mist. You can see how this all ends. I know you can. Why fight it? Just give me your codex and together we can rule it is.
Venom interrupts.
Cletus, please, I'm begging you. For once in your life, shut the f*** up. I don't care about your god. I don't care about any of this. All I know is that I'm taking my symbiote back and I'm putting you back in your grave. And if I were you, I'd take a look at my friends again because you're about to get your ass kicked.
A band of heroes join the fight in epic style, adding some much-needed muscle in the battle against the horde. Spider-Man uses the last of his strength to neutralize Norman Osborn, and then collapses in a heap on the ground. Norman's symbiote peels itself off of his unconscious body and moves towards Dylan and Normie.
That thing is still alive! Get behind me, Normie!
Dylan stands face to face with the symbiote. A dark rage overwhelms Dylan, fueling his being with a fury he's never experienced before. His eyes turn black, as dark as the void itself.
You know what? I hate all this symbiote sh**.
Dylan lashes out at the symbiote and vaporizes it instantly. Neither Normie nor Dylan know what just happened. Dylan becomes lightheaded and passes out in Normie's arms. Carnage and Venom fall through the ceiling. Carnage is crawling towards Dylan. He knows that Dylan is the last piece, and if he collects his codex, he'll probably have enough strength to wake Knull.
You've already lost.
Carnage lifts Dylan's unconscious body into the air.
Between the two of us, we almost have enough codices to join the hive and awaken Knull. I kill the boy and take his codex. Maybe that's enough. Maybe then I wake up our god. I'm willing to take that bet. But if you kill me to protect him, if you take your symbiote back, you complete the circle. You reconnect to the hive, and you wake up Grandpa.
You wanted this. Wanted me to gather the other pieces for you.
I kill your son, or you kill the world.
Fine, f*** the world.
Venom forms a massive sword and plunges it through Carnage.
Stay the hell away from my son.
Eddie then rips off the Carnage symbiote and bonds it with himself.
Eddie, no, what have you done? I can feel them, the hive. It's complete. I can't stop it. Eddie! Eddie, it's him. I can see him in his cage, and he can hear us. Knull. He's awake. He's free. And he is coming, Eddie. For all of us. For everything. God help us all.
Eddie regains consciousness. He wraps his arms around Spider-Man and thanks him for all his help and for keeping Dylan safe. Eddie sits down next to Dylan, who has also regained consciousness.
Hey, buddy.
Dylan's eyes are wide. He's frightened and confused. There is a moment of silence before Dylan asks,
Did you say I was your son?
The end.